And this is something I was sharing with my friend, and I said, we don't think about men enough. Like, we don't try to look at things from the man's point of view enough. When you read this book, I'm sure if you've read this book, you have read the heartbreaking stories that are going on there. There's this particular story I was reading about this guy who got a very nice job in social media management, and the job was really well paying. But and this might be a trigger, by the way. This might be a trigger. If you I don't even know the disclaimer. Anyway, it's too late to give the disclaimer. But anyway, the boss was gay. I had a very interesting interview actually last week, and I went to the interview. First of all, looks like they had advertised whatever they had advertised for was not what they were interviewing for. And first of all, I went there. The first red flag was that I was told, they called me in the morning to ask me, so kuna interview this and this time? I said, yeah. Oh, harakisha tuko karibu kwenda. I was like, it's 2 hours before the actual time you told me to show up for the interview, but you guys want to leave. In my head, I was like, simuende too, but I was like, okay, let me just go. So I went, I waited for them for like an hour and a half, and we got into the interview. I started communicating like my skills, and this person dead ass looked at me in the eye and told me that the things I have on my CV ni uongo. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Perfectly Imperfect. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode. I'm so glad you could join and tune in to listen to this particular episode, because it's been so long since I was in studio. I think it's been like a month. I just took an impromptu break. I'm going to explain all that later. But right before I get into anything else, I'd like to say kindly make sure you subscribe to this podcast and to this YouTube channel. If you come back here to watch my content video after video, episode after episode, and you're not subscribed, imagine it's illegal and it's heartbreaking. So at least make sure you subscribe. It's the least you can do to support my content. But to everyone who has subscribed so far, everyone who has shared my content, everyone who has inboxed me to tell me the content is good, I really appreciate the feedback, and I really appreciate all the comments I'm getting, and the interaction is just amazing. So also, I'd like to say we still have our merchandise on sale. If you'd like to get a piece of Perfectly Imperfect, there'll be a how to order thing poster on the screen right now. So make sure to place your order. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, you can check our Instagram page or TikTok page to see how you can get yourself a piece of the merch. So I think we should get right into the episode. But right before I do, let me say why I took a break, impromptu. I think you guys have still been seeing episodes, but I've not necessarily been in studio, right? Episodes, I had I had bulk shots, right? So I had episodes, but I have not been in studio myself necessarily, but I'm back. I took a break because life was just lifing. Things were just thinging, and everything was just getting so overwhelming, and I had to take a step back and at least re-strategize a bit. That's the reason why you've not received any updates from me sometimes. And I think I talked about this on my Instagram page. Sometimes the content creation space or the content creation industry is really super hard and overwhelming. It's really hard to keep showing up as consistently as you would like to, and especially right now I'm doing this in video. Kitambo, I just used to take my microphone and record in my bed, but right now I have to literally shower and get myself out of the house to be on set. So it's not really the easiest thing, but here I am doing it. So my apologies for taking the break without telling you guys. I'm also aware that there wasn't an episode up last week. This is also because I have not reviewed the episode, guys. Like, things are just moving so fast, and it's just been crazy. But we thank the Lord for the grace to be here. So yeah, let's get right into this episode. And I remember I mentioned, I don't remember, was this on episode 6? A little faith goes a long way, if I'm not wrong. And I was sharing my experiences on corporate. Now, generally, I wouldn't really share my experience on corporate in this podcast. But since I transitioned to YouTube has really been a whole new experience for me. It's been like experiencing the podcasting space anew or afresh. So I've really tried to be more open-minded on the topics I talk about on my podcast, as well as the experiences I share, especially because I have people telling me that they're benefiting from my podcast. They're benefiting from the episodes I share, and that alone is just enough to make me want to share my personal experience so that it can help you. Like I always say, this is not a manual, guys. I'm not an expert in this field. I'm not an expert in corporate. Hell, I don't even know how to hack corporate yet. I'm still struggling, but yeah. So on that episode, I talked about my job and saying that I quit my job. It's been about 3 months now since I quit my job. And no, I don't necessarily regret quitting the job, but I think I regret quitting without a particular plan laid out, which is something I'm going to speak about in a few. But now I'm back knee deep into the job searching, and it's crazy. It's crazy. If you follow me on Instagram, you definitely saw my friend. She's called Prudence. She had said that God's plan for her life does not involve LinkedIn at all. Girl, same. Everyone in LinkedIn is just delighted. Do you guys know we are going to die one day? I don't know. I don't know whether the LinkedIn guys know, because anyway, so yeah, and so today I'm basically going to talk about how to know it's time to leave, but I'm also going to share how knowing it's time to leave is not enough to leave. You have to have a bit more reasons for you to leave, unless it's a really serious thing. And one thing that I really advocate for on this podcast is your mental health. It really gets hard to keep working in a place where you're not valued, where your values no longer align with the company's values. You guys, we just say this in interviews. You just say, I want to work here. You asked, okay, why do you want to work here? And you're like, the company's values align with my own personal values. We keep saying that, but it's like a serious thing. A company's values might not align with your own personal values. And when it gets to that point, then definitely it's not the right place for you to work in. And obviously, if you're facing like some serious challenges like being sexually assaulted, being physically abused, I remember, was it like a year ago or 2 years ago, there was that video that was trending of a certain restaurant. I'm not sure whether it was in Westlands or Kilimani, where one employee was beaten up simply because they went back to ask for their salary after quitting, yet they had worked there for, I think, the whole month or two without pay. So if you're being physically abused, then definitely that is not a place for you. I'd say leave and walk out of that place, even without enough reasons, because honestly, why would anyone be beating the shit out of you, or hitting you, or even sexually assaulting you? It's not right. And during this period where I have not been in studio, I've been reading several books. Who am I? I read a couple of books, and one of them is Confessions of Nairobi Men. And this is something I was sharing with my friend, and I said, we don't think about men enough. Like, we don't try to look at things from the man's point of view enough. When you read this book, I'm sure if you've read this book, you have read the heartbreaking stories that are going on there. There's this particular story I was reading about this guy who got a very nice job in social media management, and the job was really well paying. But and this might be a trigger, by the way. This might be a trigger. If you I don't even know the disclaimer. Anyway, it's too late to give the disclaimer. But anyway, the boss was gay, and so this guy just went to the restroom to catch a break, and then the boss came and they started hitting on them, and they even like physically touched them. Let me just say that. And it was so crazy to this guy, because I believe he was straight. From how he was sharing his story, he was. And after that, he said that the boss told him that they should get in kind of like a relationship, and the guy said, of course, he said he doesn't want to, but the boss said, oh, okay, then akasema ni kama nitakugeuzia story. Let's see who people will believe. I'm the boss, and you've only been here for like, is it 3 months or 4 months? Let's see who people are going to believe. The guy quit his job, guys. He went back home to his parents' house, and he used to say how every day he woke up and his mom was constantly quarreling him, constantly telling him how he's useless, he's a man, he's grown up, he's sitting in the house, he let go of a very good position and of a very good opportunity just to come and lie in the house. But he couldn't really tell the mom what happened at work or why he can't work in that place anymore. And that story really was really heartbreaking because I came to realize something else that our parents don't really know is the condition of our workplaces. Um, Maybe you don't even live with your parents, maybe you live alone, and when you talk on phone, every time you just say work is good, small pressure here, and then the conversation is over. Or if you live with your parents, maybe you come home from work, you're tired, and all you do is just sleep. Because I remember when I was at the time I was struggling with my job, I used to share with my parents, but not a lot. Because again, I've come from work, 10 hours, I've just been talking to people, being quarreled, being insulted, and I don't even want to talk about it or talk about anything at all, rather. So I just come home and sleep. So mostly sometimes our parents do not really understand why we do the things we do. According to them, they think it's just Gen Z. You just don't want to work, which is really sad. But I think this is a perspective we can change. So if it's definitely something that is, of course, life threatening or anything, abuse, guys, there's some serious abuse in corporate, including emotional abuse. And if that is happening to you, I'm really sorry you're going through that, and you can definitely try and seek help to see how you can make that better. Now, for me, how I knew it was time to leave my job, and I'm saying how I knew because this is my own experience. I may not know about your experience, right? I may not know what you're going through. What you're going through might be 10 times worse, or it might be one time better than what I went through. But how I knew it was time to leave my job is, number one, I was feeling very unmotivated. I think I have addressed this severally. My job really required you to put in your all and be consistent while at it. And when it got to the point where I felt like I was very unmotivated to do to do simple things at work, then I knew it was definitely time to leave. And then I also felt like at the time it was really hard to get appreciated at the particular job I was working. And when small things become, when you start involving money in small things like promotions, and I know this is Kenya, everyone is doing that everywhere, but you can't honestly genuinely ask me for 60,000 for a position that is going to pay me 45,000 a month. And currently I'm not even earning that. This is just an example, guys. You're asked for, let's say, 60,000 to get a position that you're going to earn 30,000, but at the moment you're earning 20,000. It doesn't make any sense. Like when the small things become a big deal, and it just becomes crazy. That was one of the reasons. And then obviously, like I said, if the company's values do not align with your personal values, then it's time to leave. And I know you're wondering, like, what values will the company's values align with mine? How? There's, of course, the issue of integrity. How do these people handle their business? There's the issue of, I'm not sure whether to say humanity, because we have already established that HR is there to protect the company from you, not to protect you from the company, because you're the one who's going to harm the company. There's the issue of humanity. How do these people deal with their issues? Guys, I worked in a place where I've seen people share their stories on social media, and they're saying gratefully, I did not experience this, but people said that they called their bosses to say they've lost a relative, but the boss said, come in to work until we get your compassionate leave approved. But I just told you I lost my relative. Maybe I'm not even in Nairobi. I just lost my relative. And you're telling me to come in at work to wait for my compassionate leave to be approved. I've also seen people who've had to go mourn their loved ones on the annual leave instead of the compassionate leave. It's a very crazy world. So that was one of the things, and I had my notes. Now I'm gonna have to retrieve them. I didn't think I would need my phone for this. I thought I was smart, guys. But anyway, here we go. So like I said, this is just my personal experience. Expect me to wapatie manual because I do not have it. Okay. So if you feel like you're forcing yourself to go to work every day to be productive, to do the little things, it's crazy. Like if you're not giving it your best, then you're definitely in the wrong place. There's also the thing of toxic environment, where I said there's consistent manipulation, consistent negativity, poor management, or unhealthy office politics. And I know everyone who works in corporate knows that there's really a lot of politics, and mostly unhealthy politics in in the corporate world. I remember we used to have theme days at my previous job. One thing that really made the job a bit bearable was theme days. But we used to do these theme days, guys, and you see people coming in theme, but these people still select the criteria to select these people that are going to get vouchers or whatever it was, whether it's a voucher or a token of appreciation, was not based on the theme. Then why did you even come in the theme? You told us to dress like, I don't know, Elon Musk, but you're choosing the one who's the popular one who's not. Okay, let me just use a simple example. We said come in pink or come in monochrome, but this person is just wearing, okay, I think hapo nikifika nitaanza kukanyaga watu. I'll step on toes, but yeah, you get. There's also the issue of stagnation, which was I did not stay long enough in the company to really gauge whether I was gonna stagnate in the same position. But can you imagine? I met people who have been in the same position, in the same exact position, same exact place for the last 3 years. So I've been in this company 3 years, year in, year out. I'm doing interviews. I'm going for interviews, but there's nothing that is coming for me. There's no promotion, no appreciation, whatever. I'm not sure whether, I really doubt these people want to remain in the same position for years and years, because from their experience of a few coworkers of mine that I spoke with, ex-coworkers, ex-colleagues that I spoke to, they mostly always wanted to get another position. But we got into things like a certain department only has a certain tribe because the head of that department is of that tribe. It's crazy. Then the rest of us end up stagnating or being stagnant in one place. And especially people who can't speak up for themselves. And I really loved the episode we did with Victor Wandeto. If you've not watched that episode, you need to watch it. And Wandeto said in corporate, if there's one thing corporate has taught him, is how to communicate his value, which is something that resonated with me. Guys, if you're in corporate, don't you ever think being silent is for your own good. Communicate your value and communicate it well. Say exactly what you want. If it's an interview, sell yourself out. Tell them everything they need to know about you. I'm going to speak about an interview I went to recently, and I hope I don't cry in the process, but yeah. So yeah, sell yourself out. I don't see why many people think remaining silent in corporate is the best way to hack it, but I promise you it's not. Sell yourself out. If it's an interview, give them all the details they need to know. And this is where I really noticed there's a difference between the Kenya's recruitment system and the international ones. I'm going to speak about that in a few. Like I said, guys, physical and mental health. If your physical and mental health is at risk, then why are you even there in the first place? If these people are assaulting you, like I said, if someone is beating you, if someone is sexually abusing you, then this is always an elephant in the room. It's an elephant in the room. And especially in industries where people do not go to work with their phones, you have no way whatsoever of recording any kind of evidence that could incriminate these people. And anytime you try to seek justice or report them, you don't have evidence. You asked for chats, you asked for calls, you don't have them because you don't work with your phone. This person said it face to face. So how exactly am I going to bring, to give you the evidence that you need? So definitely that is also something to consider. There's also the issue, if you get a better opportunity. Do you even need to talk about this, guys? We don't. The issue of being loyal to a certain company doesn't sit right well with me. Or the issue of being loyal to one boss. Now you are very loyal to your boss in finance, but you've been offered a position in the communication department or HR department, and it's a better opportunity. It pays much better. Maybe the working hours are better. Maybe you even get the corner office. Maybe you get even privileges to maybe have a driver or maybe something, but you can't leave simply because the boss is here and you're loyal to the boss. I always say find a job that best fits your skills, interests, or offers improvement on self-care matters. So instead of being loyal to one person, instead of being loyal to one department, instead of being loyal to one boss, why don't you look for a job that actually fulfills your interest and fits your skills? Then if it does, you owe this person nothing. One thing that I've realized in corporate is that we are not family. Yes, we are not family unless you're working for your parents. Your your desk mate, in the person who sits next to you in the job, the person who is your birthday mate, you just cut cake together last week because you guys share a birthday and the company bought you cake. That's not your family. You just share a birthday. Imagine, don't overthink it. There is no coincidence. Now, because the two of you are CG cancers or Virgos, and now, no, it doesn't work like that in corporate. So instead of being loyal to this person, try as much as possible to keep looking for better opportunities that will fit your interests and that will fully utilize your skills, without actually jeopardizing the company, right? Because I'm obviously not here to tell you, sijui toka hapa uende kwa ile kampuni, hop from here and then spill all the secrets. Of course, without jeopardizing the company. If it's good for you, if it's good for your pocket, if it's good for your family, for your loved ones, then just take the better opportunity that you get. And I was really happy every time I'd see my ex-colleagues leave the job and then they got something better. Maybe they even tell me, I'm going to the UK. I got a job in the UK. I got a job in Dubai. I'm going to start out a new life in a new city because I got a better offer. I got a new job there. And it was so fulfilling. And honestly, all I could think to myself is I cannot wait for the day that will be me, Yeah. The other thing is, or was lack of recognition, like I said. Now, if your contributions are not being acknowledged or rewarded, then that is, you're definitely being undervalued. And how am I going to phrase this? I think this also has to do a bit with the office politics, where these people are going just to pick specific people to recognize or specific people to just award, not based on any merit whatsoever, So maybe this person just selects people who thinks they're the best to do these things. They're the best, they're the only ones who can do this, not based on merit. And if there's something that I think, if there's a way to actually measure what you bring in the company, I feel like it's numbers, like it's numbers. Like, kama ni key performance indicators, how many have you hit? For example, kama ni, if it's a sales job and obviously you're required to sell 100 bags of something, then how do we gauge who's the best salesperson? It's based on the bags that I'm going to sell, right? It's not based on how many customers came to the tent and smiled at me and told me that we are a good company and I didn't end up selling anything. It's going to be based on what? It's going to be based on the numbers. So if you feel like you're not being recognized, yet your numbers are adding up, or yet you're hitting your targets, your monthly targets, including the company's target, then you're definitely you're not being recognized. And so I'd like to say, right before you quit your job, just have a list of pros and cons. Let me just place this here. So right before you quit your job, just have a list of pros and cons for the job. What are the pros of staying in the job and what are the cons of staying in the job? And also, what are the pros of leaving the job and what are the cons of leaving the job? Then see which one outweighs which. If the good outweighs the bad, then you can definitely leave. But if if the good of leaving the job outweighs the bad, then definitely you can leave. But if you see, if it's something that you can definitely communicate, you can also try to bring it up with the management. And I'd like to say, for me, right before I made the decision to quit my job, I had tried to talk to management. I had tried to talk to my I'd say boss at the time, but nothing was helping. In fact, and it's so sad, but the management sided with them as well. And I was genuinely expressing genuine things, guys, by the way. So I just came up with a list of pros and cons. And for me, the pros were not a lot, but I just decided to leave. But I'm here to tell you that it's not an easy experience when you quit the job and then try to get a new job. Because one thing I can promise you is that jobs don't come immediately. You'll have to go back to the drawing board. Remember the experience you had looking for this job that you want to quit? You might go down the same road or even worse. So you really have to think and rethink your decision of quitting, because you'll have to go back to the job searching. You'll have to deal with the rejections now. You'll have to deal with them. You don't even have a routine anymore, because when you have a job, obviously you have a routine. This is the time you wake up. This is the time you go to work. This is the time you get off work. This is the time you do this. Now, when you leave the job, you don't even have a routine. Unashinda tu kwa nyumba. And we all know how kushinda kwa nyumba as an adult is annoying. Yeah, like you're literally just a couch potato. And I feel like being a couch potato has it's okay, it's comfortable. If you have the money, the problem is the money. Kama hauna pesa, hapo ndio shida inatokea. Because me, if I was a couch potato and I'm a millionaire, chonjo, like I mean, naeza chill tu hata. You can pay me to hop from one Netflix movie to another, but when your needs now start streaming in, and I know we don't appreciate the little things that you're able to do for yourself. If it's a girl, you're able to get skincare products. You're able to get your nails done. You're able to do your hair because you have a job. For me, I had thought about these things, by the way. Mi nilikuwa nishajambia kuna time itafika hata ninaweza nyoa, cause kwani what's the worst that can happen? Because now you don't have the leisure to do these things. You can't just do them because you're obviously maybe on a budget or something like that. So come up with a plan. So after quitting, what's next? Do you know what you want to do next? Do you want to look for another job? Do you want to go back to school to add on to your skills or add on to your education? Do you want to volunteer somewhere? Do you want, what is the path you want this season of your life to take? Because if you go at it just blindly, and it might not be the most pleasant experience, especially if you move from working to not working. So come up with a plan, basically a detailed plan, what you'd like to do after quitting. And obviously, if you're not living with your parents, for me, I'd also like to mention that I still had the support from my parents. So at least I knew I wouldn't have to cover the rent and the food. So at least I knew I was guaranteed I'm going to eat somewhere and I'm going to sleep somewhere. I'll have a roof over my head. But it's not always the case for all of us. So if you have no idea where the rent money is going to come from for the next 3 months, then I'd advise maybe save on that first. Make sure you at least clear those bills, the pending bills, so that they don't come to like zisikumalize. At the time now you're struggling with vitu kama kufungiwa nyumba. So just come up with a detailed plan. Write your bills. Write the bills that you're willing to forfeit. Like nails. Me, I would easily forfeit nails. Like, si lazima nitengenezwe makucha. Like, they can just say, I can just have my nails evo too. But now, important things like food, like rent, like where you're going, like what? Yeah, healthcare is of it too. If you have no idea where that money is going to come from, then definitely don't go into it blindly. Another thing is if you have dependents. I'm also lucky I don't have anyone depending on me for anything. Sina anyone depending on me for diapers, for food, for school fees, or even for cuddles. I'm just an independent babe. I owe no one nothing. So I was just lucky to have that because I feel like the experience would have been much different if I had a baby. If I was a mother, I wouldn't just quit that job just like that without knowing where else I'm going. Because how's my baby gonna eat? How's my baby going to go to school without school fees? How am I going to, foot the healthcare bills just in case they need that? So yes, we are all different. We all have different needs. So come up with a detailed plan of your needs, your wants, and then see which bills you're willing to forfeit. And the bills that you're remaining with, are you able to cover them if you're not actually working? Then once you answer that question, then you have the answer to if you want to leave or if you'd like to stay. Yeah. I think that's all I'd advise. And then obviously when you get out here, when you get back to the job searching, if you feel like you can wait while you're still at the job to look for something better, I'd highly recommend that. Just stay in the job until you get something better, then you can just transition from one job to another. But if you're not able to do that, then definitely when you come here, make sure you have your latest experience added to your CV. You have, all the skills that you gained at your previous job, any projects that you did at your previous job, anything that could add value to your CV, then add it to the CV and then start the process of now applying for jobs, looking for opportunities, asking your friends. Something that has really helped me in this period is asking my friends if they know anyone, if they know any place I can apply to, if they can help me with applications, if they can help me revamp my CV, things like that. So talking to people and making sure your CV is always updated. And of course, in a soft copy with all your skills, everything, all your projects, everything you've done at your previous job. And then you can definitely start the process of job searching. If you want to start a business, then I'm not the right person to go to because I have not yet taken that direction. But I believe if you'd like to start a business, then you can definitely also seek advice from your friends or from people who are in the same industry, who have the same kind of businesses and they're, prospering in their businesses. Gosh, what is happening? Yeah. So in this season, and I'd say I thought that every time you get a new job or every time you add a skill to your CV, I feel like it should add to the value that you have. But I had a very interesting interview actually last week, and I went to the interview. First of all, looks like they had advertised whatever they had advertised for was not what they were interviewing for. And first of all, I went there. The first red flag was that I was told, they called me in the morning to ask me, so kuna interview this and this time? I said, yeah. Oh, harakisha tuko karibu kwenda. I was like, it's 2 hours before the actual time you told me to show up for the interview, but you guys want to leave. In my head, I was like, simuende too, but I was like, okay, let me just go. So I went, I waited for them for like an hour and a half, and we got into the interview. I started communicating like my skills, and this person dead ass looked at me in the eye and told me that the things I have on my CV ni uongo. So his exact words were, utakuja hapa tukupatie experience, ukue expert, see your experience yenye umeweka kwa CV ya uongo. So I was like, in the first place, if you think it's a lie, why did you even then call me for this interview? Because I didn't know what else to respond to. And so I was just like, now you're telling me, like, you're seriously insinuating I'm lying on my CV. Why do I even have the CV, Basi? I can easily come to this interview and lie to you. Like, I don't have to bring the documentation. Anyway, that was a very interesting interview, and I have interviewed with local companies, or I say Kenyan companies and international companies, and I can tell you there's a major difference between Kenyan companies and international companies. The recruitment system in Kenya is broken. And if you're someone who is recruiting, you better get a recruiting agency to conduct interviews for you. You don't have to show up there as the director to start telling people things that might offend them. Because if you told me I'm lying on my CV, why do you think now I'd like to work for you? Because I wouldn't. The recruitment system in Kenya is really fucked up. There's a difference. If you've interviewed for international roles or international companies, then you definitely know. These people genuinely want to know who you are. They genuinely want to see what you bring to the table. They're genuinely interested in your skills. I'm telling you guys, if you interview with an international recruiter, the simplest detail about your job will matter. When you tell them about that one time you got a voucher for being the most outstanding employee of the month, they will be attracted to that. They will be so happy. They will be genuinely interested in that. And they will be like, oh, congratulations. That's really amazing. And they're just genuinely interested in knowing you, in knowing what you're going to bring to their company. For Kenyan companies, they're trying to challenge the skills that you're saying you have. They're trying to challenge you for the things that you have in your own CV. They're trying to kind of negate the things that you have on your CV. They're trying to make you feel like you have nothing to offer so that you believe they're going to give you everything that you need. Because I feel like what that interview did to me was show me how there's nothing I can do. At the moment, sina anything, sina experience, sina exposure, wando atanipatia kila kitu, which is a red flag because I am, if you asked me, I'd say I am a what? What's the word I'm looking for? I would say I am a seasoned customer service representative. And honestly, I'd say, shameless plug, if you hire me for your customer service needs, I can tell you I can comfortably handle them. I can do it. But now if I sit there and you from on the other end of the table, you're telling me that I'm lying on my CV, telling me that this skill I have, actually they even told me that customer service representatives don't do anything. They just sit behind the computer and listen to customers complain. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why people are rude to customer service agents, because you genuinely believe there's nothing I'm doing here. I'm just seated on the computer, which was crazy. So now for Kenyan companies, even when they ask, are there any other questions? They genuinely don't want you to ask these questions because most probably utauliza maswali ngumu zenye hawataki kuambia, wanataka ujue ukiwa on the job. For international companies, they are very transparent. Ask anything you'd like and they'll tell you. Heck, you even get into a conversation with your recruiter. You ask them how long they've been with the company. What does upskilling look like? And they answer these questions openly and transparently. So the Kenyan recruitment system definitely has a long way to go because it's crazy. It's crazy. It honestly makes me not want to interview for any Kenyan roles at all. The fact that you wake me up, I dress up, I come to your office to tell me that I'm lying, to waste me, to tell me you're no longer looking for that position, to tell me the position is filled, but you had already called me for the interview. That's just crazy to me. So then, and I can tell you, I had not envisioned this season of my life like this. If you asked me whether I was prepared to be jobless for 3 months plus and counting, I would say no, because I was not. And this season has been nothing I imagined. It's been one of the most craziest seasons of my life. It's just been crisis after crisis, just a crisis after another crisis. And it's nothing like I imagined it. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes you might have faith, but you might have faith, yes, and you might be believing and trusting, but the season might still be hard for you. And it's really hard to keeping the faith in that season. It's really hard to keep motivating yourself to show up in these seasons. But one thing I'd say is if you come up with a plan, then you definitely navigate that season of your life better. And like I said, you don't have to quit for you to look for something else. You can look for something else while still at the job. It just depends with the degree of kuboeka yenye umeboeka. Now, how do you say nimeboeka nataka kutoka hapa in corporate? I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, fed up. It depends on the degree of fed up you are at. Kama iko at 10, then you can definitely chill kidogo. Mimi I was, walikuwa wamenifika hapa. Guys, walikuwa wamenifika hapa. The day I got out of that office with the boss or the management and they sided with the person I was genuinely reporting genuine things about, and it's the day I told myself, Gatwe, you have 2 months to get out of here. So you have the next month and the next month to work here. And after that, you're going. And the day I said these words to myself, it felt like a dream. I was just like, am I serious? Like, niko serious, I'm a joke too. But it got to us from there. Like, things just got to us. I thought it couldn't get to us, but it got to us. It got to us. And then I just, after hizo 2 months, mimi nilijitoa tu. But imagine si lazima ujitoe kwa mix wewe. If it's better, you can vumilia kidogo, as well as try to look for other opportunities within the company where you can upskill or get better opportunities just within the company, right? You don't have to leave the company. You don't have to stop or quit like that. But if you definitely consider quitting, please have a plan. Please. Jishike hivi masikio. Don't be like Gatwiri. Just have a plan for your life. And of course, get prepared for the season. It's crazy. And job searching is never easy for real. I can tell you for sure. Job searching is not... It's just crazy. But like I said, one thing that will really help you, one thing that has really helped me even navigate these interviews is communicating all my skills. There's nothing I leave out. I give you all examples, all scenarios possible. Hata kama ni voucher ya 500 nilipata, I'll say I got this. I got an award because of being this and this and this. Don't ever underestimate yourself. Ati, you're saying, I don't need to mention this to my recruiter that I was the employee of the week. I was the most outstanding employee for the week. Sema, say it. Sema, kwani iko nini? Because especially if it's international companies, guys, I'm telling you, they'll really be interested to hear. Kenyan companies watasema tu, wiki moja. Alafu, like, it's crazy. I feel like the Kenyan recruitment team really they have a lot of work they need to get in. And like I said, this is just my own opinion. If you're a director, na unajua hujui kuinterview watu, honestly, better get a recruiter. Certified recruiter or HR to interview these people for you. Hakuna haja kufrustrate watu. Hakuna haja kumanipulate. There's literally no need to manipulate people for them to work for you. It doesn't work like that. It's crazy to ask people personal questions. This interview, guys, I'm telling you, I was just shocked. They were asking super personal questions. They told me I'm in my comfort zone because people my age are married. They have families. How is that? Like, how do you even get to decide my marital status as my employer? Like, it's crazy. So yeah, all I can say is that Kenya is just ghetto for real. Like, you guys, these are companies go ghetto, especially companies that are starting up. Like, Yani, you're setting up and you want to do the interviews yourself. You want to be the director. You want to be the receptionist. You want to be everything. It's not possible. Get people to do these things for you and make the experience a bit seamless for people. So yeah, if you're in a toxic workplace, my heart goes out to you. I know it's not easy to live, especially when you have people depending on you, especially when you have bills to pay, especially when you think about you don't want to go back to the same spot. And by this, I mean home. And I keep saying, we don't live in Nairobi. Our homes ziko huko. Tunaenda Tirum ndo tupande gari za kwetu. You know the idea of just going back home. And you know, when you go back home, for you see it as going home to take a break and recharge. Villagers see it as degree imekuja kulala kwa nyumba. Villagers see it as defeat in the city. Villagers see it as mtoto ameanza kupoteza njia, but it's not the case. You can always re-strategize. You can always start again. I'm telling you, if your parents are receptive of wakuweke nyumbani, you better even go stay there for a month, re-strategize and then come back. Imagine, it won't hurt. Ulishtua wana kijiji na civil engineering. But kama the engineering is not engineering, so uende tu home ukalale huko badala ya kulala Jivanji, honestly. Imagine there's nothing that will happen. So yes, and if you're in a position to leave, then leave. If you're not in a position to leave, then pray about it. Keep looking for other opportunities. Keep looking for better opportunities. Keep hoping that God is going to open a door for you. And if it's obviously something that you can get help with within the company, like talk to HR or something. I'm not sure whether those are helpful, but talk to them. Talk to your supervisor, your immediate boss. See whether there's something you can work out to make you more comfortable. If there's nothing, then you can definitely step out. But my heart goes to everyone in a toxic workplace, everyone in a toxic environment, feeling like if you get out of that place, you won't have anywhere else to go. If you get out of that place, you won't have anything else to do with your life. And feeling like if you get out of that place, you'll be the most useless human ever. You will not. By the way, you will not be the most useless human. People in their 30s have quit jobs. Mothers of 3 children and have packed their bags and moved to a new town. Zero experience in the town. They know nothing about the town and started life there, and it worked out. Me, honestly, if you ask me the number of times I have considered moving away from this city to go to a different town and just start my life there again afresh, I've reconsidered that so many times. Like, just get out of the city and just build a whole new life. But after analyzing, I just can't. I just don't have sina hiyo advantage ya kutoka tu. But if I could, I definitely would have. But yeah, so you just lay out your cards. Angalia cons, angalia pros. See how long you can vumilia. See how long you can stay in the job. If the math is not mathing, then definitely walk out. And I'm not saying walk out ati toko uende. Just say it formally. Kama wanahitaji notice, wapatie notice. I didn't give a notice, by the way. Msidhani I'm the best advisor. Kama wanataka notice, wapatie notice. Whatever they want, wapatie. Company property, rudisha tu, imagine, and just wait for what the next season of your life holds. So I hope this speaks to you. I hope this helps you. Hell, I hope this motivates you to just get yourself out of that place. It's not worth it. If it's taking your mental health up, then it's not worth it. And yeah, obviously, pay your bills, guys. Your bills, pay your dues. Your dues is subscribing to my podcast. I'm just advising you like this for free, like sharing my experiences for free. It's, like subscribing is also free, by the way. So yeah, hapo tunaweza fanya a very fair trade. So you subscribe then for free, and then I give you my content for free. Also, sharing is free. I mean, how many minutes does it take to copy the link and then share it on your status or on your Instagram story? You see? And then how many minutes does it take to tell your friends or your boyfriend? I have a friend of mine with a podcast. See? Very few minutes. Anyway, yeah, so I hope this has been an interesting episode for you. Please do not forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share, and follow us across our social media platforms. Perfectly Imperfect with Marcy on Instagram and TikTok. Na sijui ni kama TikTok wamenisha duban. The views there are not viewing, but yeah, I shall stick with my 30 fans. Me and my 30 fans against the world, conquering the world, one episode at a time. So yeah, guys, don't forget to do all the good stuff. And yeah, I think I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.